Hello, hello, everyone. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing better than me. I have been scammed. I have been scammed. I have been got. They have taken my money. So I hope you all are having a much better day than myself. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the KimUnity Soulutions podcast, the only podcast that's inspiring leadership and humanity within and beyond the workplace. It is so good to be with you all another week, period. I'm going to start another sentence now. I am exhausted. I am exhausted. I am frustrated. I'm disappointed. I'm upset with myself. I'm upset with the scammers. I'm upset with this song. I'm just upset. And I wanted to go ahead and give you all some information so you won't be impacted like I have been. As you know, my name is Kim, the SME. The SME is speaker of my experiences. So I'm going to tell you what happened to me, and prayerfully you can avoid what has happened. How I have been scammed, gotten over for a total of over $875 plus my time and patience and energy. So let's get into it. Maybe a week ago, my children were involved in a car accident. So there was a minor hit and run. There's a whole lot of meat in between that story, but to make it short, we ended up getting their information and filed a claim with their insurance. Now, I called my agent just to say, hey, should I get my insurance involved or just leave it with them? I wanted to be sure. And they say, yeah, it's not a problem. Go ahead and notify them if there's any medical or anything like that, or just to escalate it so that there's no delay. There'll be like an extra push. So I'm like, okay. So we went ahead and called. So I told my daughter to call, actually. I said, go ahead and get the insurance information out the car. It has everything you need, the phone number, the policy, all that good stuff. Give them a call and just let them know what happened. She's like, well, what are they going to say? And I'm telling her, they'll prompt you. Okay, what is your name? What is your information? Where did it happen? All of that good stuff. But we're not filing it through our insurance. So my daughter does that to the best of her ability. She does that. She calls, and then she's in mid conversation with them, and she comes to me. And they're asking all the information. And then it got a little sketchy. They said, well, we see that you have a payment coming out soon. You're on auto pay. We have a 1-day special where you can save $80 on this one payment. And we will stop the automatic payment for this 1 month. And I'm thinking like, okay, what could I do with $80? Okay, I can get my nails done. My kids are going away to college. I can get them, a few extra things with that. And so it didn't sound right. And if you've been listening to me, you know that I'm all about communication, and we know that it's not just about the words that are coming out of someone's mouth. It's their body language, it's their tone, it's everything that we don't see. It's what we sense. It's what we sense. It's our intuition. These are all forms of communication. And once again, if you listen to any of my prior episodes where I've discussed this, whenever I do not follow my intuition, something goes awry. Something goes awry. And so I asked them, I said, well, how would we have known or been contacted for an offer of a discount had we not reached out to you? Because mind you, we reached out to them about an incident. And so then they just said, oh, well, it's a 1-day discount. It's a 1-day special, and you qualify for it. And so I'm like, okay. And so I'm looking at my daughter and I said, you didn't get off the phone with them when you made the claim, right? This is still the same people. She said, yeah, Mom, it's still the same people. So I'm like, okay. So then they're like, okay, well, give me your card information and then we'll run it through. I said, well, I already have auto pay, so why can't you just run it through now so I can get the discount? They're like, no. So another red flag. I give them my information. And I'm laughing now because there were so many red flags, but I was working, I was triple tasking, I was not distracted, but I was ready to get it over with. You know, it's all about time. And so I give them my information and they're like, okay, well, we're going to send you an authorization and we need you to give us this code so that we can verify that this is the right, contact person. I said, okay. So I'm looking, I'm like, no, I haven't gotten authorization. I haven't gotten anything. They said, okay, well, we're sending it to your email. We send it to your text. I'm not sure why it's happening. I said, you know what? This is just way too much for the $80. Don't worry about it. And then I'm trying to be like, okay, I'm trying to be considerate. That's what I've talked about in prior episodes too, is that a little bit of my downfall or something that I need to work on is being too considerate of others. Oh my gosh. So it didn't go through. Now, the payment that was supposed to go through was probably like $480, right? I'm looking at my bank statement, I'm online, and I'm not seeing anything go through. I'm not getting an authorization. Then they were like, okay, well, let's try another card. I said, well, if you already tried one card and it's not working, I said, I don't know why it's not working, because the funds are there, because it's going to be automatically withdrawn in a few days anyway. What do I do like a dummy and not following my instincts and my intuition? I give them another card number. And my daughter was like, no, but I'm telling her, like, well, you didn't get off the phone with them, right? This is still the same people that you filed the claim with, that you told them about the incident. She said, yes, Mom, this is the same people. And I said, okay, so it's still the insurance company. I'm going to go ahead and do it. Gave them my information. Still no auth code. I'm like, you know what? This is frustrating. They're like, well, just give us I said, I'm not giving you another card. This is suspect. This is suspect. So they were like, okay, well, we'll call you back. Long story short, after all of this, my first card is charged $500. My second card is charged $300 and something dollars. Look, we almost at $1,000 here. And so I'm like, what's going on? So they're like, well, I don't know. We're not showing anything on our side. I said, I need to speak to somebody higher than you. I was already speaking to a manager. Say, hey, I need to speak to somebody higher than you. I'm tired of playing these games. You guys are doing exactly what I said I did not want to do. I did not want you doing all these multiple attempts, putting all these holes and authorizations, authorized amounts on my card. I need funds to, get my kids off to college and all this stuff. They're like, I'm sorry, ma'am. We're working on it. I'm going to escalate this. Then while my daughter is on hold with them, I'm calling my agent like, hey, I took your advice. I went ahead and contacted this insurance company to let them know that I'm filing a claim on another insurance company, the one who's at fault. And they're telling me about a discount and all this stuff. And she was like, oh, no, they don't. Insurance companies don't do that. And I don't think that you're speaking to the insurance company. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not speaking to the insurance company? She didn't really know because she was not in the conversation. So she said, yeah, I'm looking at your policy now and I'm showing that they have canceled your automatic payment. And I'm like, how is that? If it's fraud, how are they going into the system and canceling my payment and then making all these bogus charges? So now I'm livid. And so I said, okay. So I knew she couldn't help me any further. So I went ahead and Asked her, I said, what is the phone number to the insurance company? She gave it to me. And I'm asking my daughter, Jasmine, is this the number you called? She said, yes, this is the number I called. And I asked her, I said, did you go and get the card out of the car like I told you? Communication, direction, follow through. I asked. She said, Mom, I actually used Google. She said, I had the policy number because you sent me a screenshot, but I went on Google because I didn't feel like going to the car to get it. She went on Google and saw the number. She repeated the number to me. I repeated it to the agent. The number was right. Are you putting all of this together so far? My daughter has called the same number. My agent has said this company has taken our claim information. They have charged multiple cards. They have also stopped payment, automatic payment from in my actual insurance account. Like, what in the world? Straight up scam. So I said, okay. I said, Jasmine, show me the number. I said, go through your phone and I want to see the number that you dialed. Let me see your recent calls. While she's doing that, I get on the phone and I call the number myself. And I speak to someone and they say, no, we are not showing any calls on your account, not showing any calls in your policy. There are no notes. There are, but we do see that a transaction is stopped, payment, auto pay on your account. Did you do that? And obviously I'm like, yes, but obviously it wasn't through you all. She said, oh, it seems like you've been scammed. We've been getting a lot of that lately. What? Are you serious? She said, yes, they are basically saying that they are us, that they are the insurance company, and people are giving them their information and they're able to tap into the account and make changes as well as charge your cards, everything that you give them. So my daughter pulls up the phone and the number she thinks she called is not what she dialed. If you have ever gone on your phone and looked at a number or a company that you wanted to call, and there's that call button and you just push call, that number was linked to someone totally different outside of the insurance company. Even though it showed the right number, it is not what she was linked to. You all need to be careful. We all need to be careful. Scammed, got, taken advantage of, fraud, everything that you can think imaginative has happened today. Not only are we dealing with a car accident and pain and all this, I've been on a phone call, multiple phone calls all day trying to get my funds back, trying to stop payment, trying to get to the bottom of it, make sure my insurance doesn't lapse. All of this. Now there's a song out and I thought it was Carisha Please, but she goes by Young Miami. I should have known that. I don't really, you know what I'm saying? Young Miami, Spin That. And it's talking about like all the scammers. And that's all I could think about because it's a catchy song. And as soon as I heard it, I told my girls, I said, you know what? This is going to get a lot of people in trouble because they're making it catchy. And it's not just about the people who've been doing it, but the people who've never done it, who are going to start doing it because they hear this song and it's catchy and, you know, they want to be in the mix. Don't be one of them. And so as I'm going through all of this, I'm thinking to myself, how would all of these scammers act if it happened to them? If they were on the other side of this, if it was one of their loved ones, I always say to treat people how you want to be treated. I always say, imagine if it was your loved one, your grandmother, your great grandmother. Would you want them to be cheated? Now, these same people who are out here scamming people and cheating people are the same ones who would go off, want to slice your throat if you called them outside their name with just words, not touching their finances, not jeopardizing, the systems that people have in place for their bills, for their livelihood. I'm just so disgusted. I'm so disgusted. And it's not like I haven't had fraud on my account before. I've stopped inserting my card inside of like when you're pumping gas. I stopped doing that because I know that there are skimmers on there that take your information. So after something happens, I learn from my mistakes and I learn from other people's mistakes. So I don't do that again. This time, I should have learned from my mistake in the past of not following my intuition. And so, yes, I have to take responsibility with that. Also, my daughter, yes, the shortcuts, because I said, go to the car and get the phone number. But we do it as adults, we do it all the time. We look for something and we just push the button because it's easier. But we don't know what it's linked to. Who are you linked to? Connections. Like all of this is about everything that I stand for, everything that I've discussed, everything that I try to prevent. You have to be careful to what you're connected to, because you can still get caught up in the mix. You can still reap those consequences. You are attached to them. Look at your circle. Who are you connected to? What can bring you down? What can damage your reputation? What can affect and impact negatively your finances? Who are you listening to that it doesn't really sound right? Maybe I shouldn't make that investment. Maybe I shouldn't make that purchase. Maybe I shouldn't get in the car with them. We have to go beyond what we hear to what we sense. It's for our own good, even if it feels like a delay, even if it feels like it's inconvenient. We have to listen to that gut feeling, that spirit, that protection. Now, thankfully, I'm not in the same position as I was before, because last time I had fraud on my account, it took me out. It took me out. At least, thankfully, I have enough in there that I can still survive. I can still, it hasn't, it's impacted me, but it's not stopping anything. But it could have. It could have. So I'm grateful for this. But at the same time, with all of this going on, the car accident, the fraud, the insurance, all this is also happening at a time that I am rising. It is happening at a time when things are working for my good, where I have favor, where I am, getting phone calls and have meeting requests and making impact in the clubs and the organizations that I belong to, or becoming members of other things. Branching out. You see, the enemy will always try to attack you as you are moving up, as you are making progress. as you see the motion, as you see things shifting in your life. So I'm sharing this message with you just so you know that, number one, it can happen to you easily. We get so caught up in timing and in our schedule, in our routine, that we make hash decisions, knowing that it doesn't feel right. And I asked all the questions. It's not that I did not ask the questions. I asked the questions. I knew it didn't make sense, but I proceeded. Those were red flags. This happens in the workplace. This happens in our living space, our personal space, in the public. We've got to do better. We've got to do better. We can't take things for face value. We never have been able to take things for face value, but now we have to really look at the details. These buttons that we're clicking on our phones, on Google, we think it's a phone number, when really it's linking us to someone else, where they have your information. They're able to tap into the systems and get your name and your address and all of this stuff. It's tricky. It's tricky. So yeah, they tried to spin that. But thankfully I was able to call my banks. Remember that I had to call several different institutions because I gave them different cards. But I was able to call them and, stop the payment on those. Now with a new card being issued, guess what I have to do? I have the luxury of going through my bank statements and finding every company that is being auto paid out of my account and switch my information. Joy. Oh, the joy of doing that. Oh, the joy of getting emails and notifications saying that my card is, my transaction has failed. I need to update my payment, which means I need to remember passwords and usernames. I mean, it's such a hassle. As I am preparing to get my children off to college and, finish up the shopping and things like that, to go out of town. It's really a lot, but I wanted to get on here because, again, I am Kim, the SME. I am speaking from my experience. This is all about communication. I am the communication accountant. I'm telling you what it's costing you. There are hidden costs of communication, and this has cost me over $875 plus my time, plus my patience, plus my energy. Communication is expensive. Miscommunication is expensive. Be careful out there, y'all. Be careful. We see it on all the time about how the elderly are taken advantage of. They're getting phone calls saying they won stuff to give their information, and they give it. This wasn't that. We didn't get a phone call. We made a phone call. We made a phone call thinking that we were connected to our insurance company, and we were not. Connections are important. Communication is important. Your intuition and all of your faculties are important. When it doesn't feel right, pause, slow down, take time. Don't rush into making these decisions. That's going to cost you on the end. That's my spiel for today, y'all. Again, I am tired. I am tired, but I'm thankful that it could have been worse, and it wasn't. I'm thankful that my children are provided for, and it hasn't stopped anything. It's been a huge inconvenience, But I'm still here and I'm still rising. I'm telling you, be careful what you're connected to. Thank you so much for listening. You have been listening to the KimUnity Soulutions podcast. And speaking of communication, I have conversation cards called Questions and Perspectives. I would love for you to check them out. It is a free app. You can experience this app for free. You go to qnpcards.com. The weekend is coming up, and I'm not sure who you're around. Think about who you're around. Open up this app. All you have to do is put your name and your email, and you will automatically have access to questions and perspectives. You read the question, they're in over 11 languages, so you can share it with the people that you are around and share your perspective. Learn more about each other. You'll be surprised at the responses. You will be surprised. And it doesn't have to be just in your personal life. Use them in the workplace. Use them as icebreakers before your meeting. That's what they are there for. And I also do live experiences. I will come to you and use these cards as a live experience so that you all are being more productive and more engaged in the workplace. So you get better results when there is actually a connection. So go ahead and try out the questions and perspectives cards at qandpcards.com. Until next time, you all, be blessed. Bye-bye.